You're looking at live pictures of the 2007 Metro Cruise coming to you from the 28th Street Strip, where for 2 full days, one of the busiest commercial roads in Michigan plays host to 200,000 people, admiring nearly 10,000 classic automobiles from all across the state. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Kothe.
And I'm Noemi Morales, and while 28th Street has long been known as one of the main drags to the communities of Grand Rapids, Wyoming, and Kentwood, there's just no better way to celebrate in West Michigan than to take your pick of 10,000 classic automobiles and let the good times roll.
Right now, you could point your finger in just about any direction and come across a classic car you either wish you had or one you did have when you were a teenager. At WKTV, we have a number of volunteers who are car experts in their own right and are giving their time to our full Metro Cruise coverage. We're calling them the Car Squad, and they're stationed all along 28th Street. We're going to go first to George Keene at Berger Chevrolet, where he's literally lost in a sea of classic cars.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, I'm George Keene, and we're here at Berger Chevrolet. We're going to see hot rods. We're going to see other concept vehicles that have come to fruition. We're going to see, as I was talking to the gentleman from General Motors about what people do to cars once they get them. We think they're phenomenal, and then they dress them even a little bit more. What you're going to expect to see today, it's going to be phenomenal. We'll try and get an opportunity to visit with the folks that have the weird and the unknown, stuff that we don't recognize, and as you see, some of the stuff that's just original sheet metal that they put a lot of love in to restore it back to original. George Keene at Berger Chevrolet, just starting on the Metro Cruise.
Hi, I'm Eddie Grover. I'm here with Jose Cummings, and we're here at the second annual Lowrider Hop-Off. We're going to be showing you some extremely modified lowriders, and they're going to be competing for some cold, hard cash.
That's right, to start with some single pump and double pump action. And of course, we can't leave out this year's radical competition. I'm Jose Cummings, so stay tuned.
This part of the WKTV Car Squad is going to be with the Metro Million. See this rare collection of classic cars worth an estimated $1 million total. Now, we're going to be bringing that to you shortly, but for now, let's go back to you.
So let's get into it and start with what is arguably one of the more beautiful cars from the classic era. For that, we go to the Car Squad and back to George Keene, who's standing by with a beautiful collection of Ford Crown Victorias.
Thanks, Noemi. We are now looking at a 56 Ford Crown Victoria Skyliner. If you happen to notice, it's one of the few made from the factory that had a clear sunroof on the top all the way across the top of the car. It was one of the most unique cars built at the time, and obviously it still is quite a collectible item. And this was one of my first new cars personally, was a 56 Ford. Mine was pink and black, but it was very common in those days to use the pastel colors of the pink. We'll see the next car has got the turquoise color. And it was just common in those days to use a lot of pastel colors. Another 56 Ford. They've done a lot of work on this one. Of particular interest on this one is the grille. That's not a Ford Motor Company grille. This was hand-tooled by somebody, and a beautiful job. There's probably a couple of hundred louvers in the hood also.
For the first time here at Metro Cruise, there's the Metro Millions. That's the estimated worth of the cars gathered over at City Hall right on 28th Street in Wyoming. Tom is there with these rare cars that are worth a lot of money.
And Noemi, you are right. We are here at the Wyoming City Hall as part of Metro Cruise 2007 in what is known as the Metro Million. All the cars behind me you see here are all valued at close to $1 million. We have automobiles here such as Duesenbergs, Ferraris, rare Fords, rare Chevys, all of them, some of their values $350,000, $400,000, even $500,000 a piece. It's our opportunity to see how the other half really lives. Imagine gracefully driving down the road in this, a 7-passenger 1931 Cadillac LaSalle. Now the name Cadillac since the 1920s has been synonymous with fine living and driving. Completely rebuilt, the owner of this 31 LaSalle isn't afraid to get his car a little dirty, even taking it two-tracking through Manistee National Forest. This LaSalle provides pure pleasure and stands out as real eye candy for all of us in the other lane. And vintage racing from the era that made Indy the legend it is today is represented by the 1958 Curtis Craft Midget, which included a long list of drivers as it went through the paces of becoming a true American classic. The placement of a Curtis Craft Midget at the Metro Million is a testament that people with a passion for cars often discover tremendous value in unusual vehicles. There was a brief moment in American car history when these classic muscle cars were common property, but not anymore. This Charger Daytona in near perfect condition without restoration was one of only 502 originally built and includes the original dual 4-barrel carburetor sitting atop a rare Hemi-automatic engine that gives an amazing 426 horsepower ride. It's sure to recall the speed of youth for anyone who remembers owning one. And earlier, we had a chance to talk to John Crawford, one of the organizers of the Metro Cruise, about what it is about our cars that Americans love.
I think what the automobile symbolizes in America is freedom. I think it's the open road, it's the fact that you can get up and go, and that's what America is all about and what Americans love. They love their ability to get up and go, and then when they do get up and go, they go in the style that is them. A lot of individuality with the freedom, and you see it. There's just all kinds of everything out there, and it's just really, really amazing. There's a lot of nostalgia. You know, I remember that. My neighbor had one of those. You know, and so there was an awful lot of that going on at the same time.
Our cars symbolize our desire for the open road, and in 1902, paved roads that could take you across America were few and far between. But one emerging company, Oldsmobile, recognized that being able to move would be synonymous with that American idea of freedom. However, the pure simplicity of the car and its complete exposure to the elements, along with the bicycle-like tires, speaks of an era when Americans still considered driving as not done out of necessity, but like a stroll through the park or a picnic, something done for pure enjoyment, and the sense that you were a part of a brand new technology that would eventually change the nation itself. The people of Antwerp, Belgium were very proud of their Minerva motor car. This luxury model became available in the U.S. all the way up until the Second World War. With its distinctive hood ornament, this 1931 convertible sedan by Ralston evokes a time when many a Hollywood starlet, and even a few gangsters, made sure that no matter where you go, just arrive in style. Starting out like this, only the mind of a visionary could see what would become with years of patience and restoration. But patience and vision led to one of the classiest and most elegant rides in the Metro Cruise. In 1904, the city of St. Louis astounded the world with the World's Fair exhibition, and to commemorate that, the St. Louis Motor Carriage Company created this special 1904 touring car. This particular variation, the quintessential image we have of touring cars from that era, is also the only one in existence. The other claim to fame is that a different version of the 1904 St. Louis was used for an expedition into the Yosemite Valley. It was a time when paved roads were few and gasoline was delivered by stagecoach, but the 1904 St. Louis did its part in paving the way for the dominance of the car in American life. The 1929 Chevy Phaeton epitomizes the design that became so distinctive for the era. The long and low design would become a trademark look for Chevrolet and Fisher's Cadillac line, and the Phaeton became the popular expression of wealth in the US and Europe. The West Michigan owner of this Phaeton bought the car in 1966 just as pieces and discovered that the metal is
was tightly wrapped around a wood core, which had to be entirely replaced. The long and low style is also synonymous with the famous FBI agent Elliot Ness as his car of choice when chasing down his infamous counterparts in the Chicago gang wars of the Roaring '20s. The 1910 Oakland Roadster, with its 25 horsepower, 4-cylinder engine, became the predecessor to Pontiac and was a fun, everyday runabout at the time. Today, however, the car is extremely rare. 23-year-old owner Benjamin Jonas began his restoration when he was a teenager, and the car was drivable in time for his high school prom. Now there's a ride nobody else had. His painstaking restoration continued until he had this beautiful automobile, which not only shows his skill as a restorer, but looks like it rolled off the Oakland showroom floor yesterday. Now, this has been the first time that the Metro Million has been a featured part of Metro Cruise, and it's sure to come back year after year. What with a constant array of cars, it's an incredible collection, and it really is one of the crowning jewels of a very spectacular event.
As we look down Metro Cruise with all the muscle cars, there's one thing that attracts many a teenager, and that's quite simply more muscle cars. Together, this combination is as American as apple pie, and George Keane is at Berger Chevrolet with more, including a prototype for the new Camaro.
I'm at Berger Chevrolet, and we're with Scott Settlemeyer from General Motors, and behind us is probably the most unique Camaro I've seen in a long time. Tell me a little bit about it.
George, thanks for stopping by. This is the new Chevrolet Camaro concept. We're actually going to build this car. You'll be able to buy it here at Berger Chevrolet in February of 2009. But the thing that's special about this car is this is the star of the movie Transformers, which has been a hit this summer. And it's the Camaro that saves the world.
Oh, and my grandkids could tell me all about it. They've seen it, I believe, 3 times. So,
That's
yeah,
great.
It's a beautiful automobile. What do you think of the Metro Cruise so far?
Oh, this is great. I mean, how could you not have fun coming out here seeing all these beautiful cars, especially the beautiful Chevrolets and General Motors cars? But, you know, Berger has been here for 80-some years, been with us all that time, and of course, there's a lot of history here of these cars that were actually sold here 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Oh, yeah, because they actually had Berger Camaros that they sold under that name tag. So
there were a lot of supercars, you know, the Baldwin Motion cars and the Yenko cars. But Berger's been in business for over 80 years, and they're still making them here.
Well, I only go back as far as Dale Berger, so so that's not quite as far as their history, but this is just phenomenal. That's something to look forward to. Last year when we were right here in this spot, they were doing burnout contests, and some of the guys from Detroit came up with their hot rods, and that was really unique to see.
Well, like I say, this is a great time. It's a great time to really celebrate Americana, if you will. You know, these cars are uniquely American, and it's a great time to get together and have a great time.
Well, the fun thing about the new Camaro is going to be, what are they going to do to it? Because when you look at it, there's not much you need to change. It's very unique all by itself. But the minute they hang 20-inch spinners on it and all that stuff, it's going to be amazing.
The point is that this was a concept car, and the production car is going to look very, very, very close to this. If we don't, we're going to have a whole bunch of upset Camaro enthusiasts, plus a whole bunch of Americans and Canadian people that are upset about it, because this car literally stole the show at the North American International Auto Show 2 years ago in Detroit.
Yeah, I remember that very well. Yep. The crowds there were bigger than around any of your competition.
I've never seen full-grown men burst into tears when we unveiled a car. It was a very emotional event.
Well, Scott, I appreciate you spending some time with us. Enjoy the Metro Cruise and tell your friends.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll be back next year.
All right, thank you very much.
Of the 10,000 or so classic cars here at Metro Cruise, some of them stand out a little more than others. Or should we say, some stand lower than others. For the second year, Metro Cruise hosts a lowrider competition. Once thought a staple of Los Angeles, the popularity of the lowrider has spread worldwide, including Japan, where hundreds of lowrider cars are exported every year. And today, from about 4 states, these amazing vehicles are converging at the east end of 28th Street to compete in the lowrider hop-off. Eddie Grover with the Car Squad is discovering how these cars not only ride low, but also act as canvases and sculpture in their own right.
Thanks, guys. We are having a great time here at the 2007 AT&T 28th Street Metro Cruise. I'm Eddie Grover, and along with me is Jose Cummings. We're here at Sears on 28th Street. As you can see, we are about to start some off-the-hook hopping and bouncing at this second annual lowrider competition. This is the place to be, because see, these extremely modified classic cars, they hover just inches above the ground. And with the flick of a switch, these extremely modified classic cars will be dancing right before your eyes.
Now, some of these cars are able to hop an incredible 10 feet, even as high as 12 feet. These lowriders are here for two things: big prize money and a chance to walk away with bragging rights, known as the best lowrider in West Michigan. Okay, in the single pump, cars can exceed 30 inches locked up. Stephen Hubentino will inspect each competitor to ensure that they are using no more than 10 batteries in their vehicle.
And for the double pump action, the shocks get an extra 5 inches. That's 35 total locked up. They also get an extra 2 batteries for a total of a whopping 12 batteries.
And finally, that brings us to the most famous part of the whole show, which is the radical. Rules on this are very easy. There are no rules. Remember last year, the crowd favorite was the S10 that actually flipped on its side.
Looks like we're going to be getting ready for some single pump category. Let's check out our first competitor.
Let's go.
And it looks like our first competitor in the single pump category is Jason Wilson. And he's in his 95 Lincoln.
Ain't always crazy with the flow, but I ain't lazy either though. The other ladies, not the hosts, going bounce like a low ride, oh my. But this ain't war, and that ain't an original metaphor. Cause I ain't metaphor that I love the lights. Instead of driving a car, rather be riding a bike. But when I'm gripping this mic and I'm spitting on wax and start getting it right, man. Spitting the facts, most cats by that Chevy than the Maybach.
Did he just say that?
Yes. The opinion ain't switching nor joking or boasting. Just give me 16, switch like a three-wheel motion. I'm all bounce to the ounce than the waves in the ocean. And no destination, man, I just be coasting. Living in Michigan, ride like I was coasting. So I throw the dub, show some love to all the riders all across the world. Still bending them corners in the low, those girls. Just like Snoop and Dre, don't believe me, cause I say ask all of the essays who riding the freeway. Each way, each even though it's a cliche, they still holler out and say, bounce with me.
20 inches for Willie in his 95 Lincoln from Detroit. Next up is Jason Garrett from the West Side Car Club, all the way from Ohio.
Everybody give it up. I'm Jason from Ohio. We have 33 inches. He's from the West Side Car Club. We'll see him more again.
All right, next we have Jimmy from the Majestic Car Club out of the Detroit area. Looks like Jimmy's getting ready to hit some switches in that 64 Impala hardtop.
Give it up for 58 inches.
What kind of car do you have here, Tyrone?
This is a 62 Chevy Impala, two-door, hardtop.
Okay, and could you kind of give us an overview of some of the features you have on this car?
I did a off-the-frame restoration with the car, so it's been rebuilt from the ground up. The frame has been boxed in, reinforced, everything's reinforced. I have a full chrome dashboard, the engine is chromed out, and also remote control, trunk, and hood.
What kind of inspires you to put so much effort and so much hard work into an automobile?
Well, this was always a high school dream. something that wasn't legal back when I was a youngster, at least in California, Compton, California. And when I came out here, the laws changed and enabled me to be able to fulfill my dream.
Well, that's excellent.
Now that's what you call some killer single pump action. The awards will be handed out at the end of the event, so please stay tuned to WKTV's coverage of this year's AT&T 2007 28th Street Metro Cruise.
Everyone who is at the age where they can start collecting classic cars will probably also remember Big Hair, Stonewashed Jeans, and groups like Duran Duran and Bon Jovi. The popularity of the 80s seems to be everywhere, and one car from that era is considered a classic today, and it's the Chrysler Mitsubishi StarQuest. This classic 80s car originated when the Japanese automaker wanted to break into the U.S. market, so they combined with Chrysler and the StarQuest was born. WKTV's own Reuben Richardson and the Car Squad is out at the Crown Plaza where a large number of these unique 80s classics are gathering for today's Metro Cruise.
It was to be the flagship of the partnership between Mitsubishi and Chrysler. And it's carried the flag proudly. From the day it rolled off the production line in 1982, these cars have turned heads wherever they go. And now, 25 years later, Mitsubishi Starion and Chrysler Conquest still have a loyal following of owners and fans.
1972, Chrysler purchased a small portion of Mitsubishi, and that earned them a spot on their board of directors. What they did at that point was Chrysler and Mitsubishi worked together to basically make a car between the two. They put their engineering and their resources together and came up with the Starion that was then imported and rebranded for Chrysler, Dodge, and Plymouth banners.
I think basically the only difference between the Conquest and the Starion is the Diamond Star emblem on the header panel in the front. The front grille is black instead of body colored, matched with like the Conquest, and the taillights have crosshatches on them.
These cars are comparable to, say, the Toyota Supras, Nissan 300ZX, Porsche 944. Those were the cars that Mitsubishi kind of geared this car to compete with.
The whole marketing scheme for the Starions and Conquests was that it appealed to all of your senses. It appealed to your sight, your sound, your touch. Everything about the car was thought of in a marketing standpoint so that they could gear it towards numerous audiences, primarily in the US, Australia, and in the UK.
With fewer than 80,000 ever being brought into the United States, these cars are considered rare. The owners and enthusiasts have turned to each other to keep these cars on the road.
The sad thing about not so many of them being brought here, there's not a good aftermarket for them. It's hard to find parts. You know, Mitsubishi, they just quit making replacement parts, so you're really to the point you gotta find what's left over at a dealership that's been sitting on a dusty shelf, or you know, just dig or even make new stuff. A lot of garages and people not knowing the car, they don't want to work on it. If you want to keep it running, you pretty much have to do it yourself. But like I said, we got a great group of guys.
You ask a question and people will give you their input. If they've had the problem, they'll tell you how they've fixed it. So it's really easy to be able to do your own work on these cars because there's so many people out there willing to help you.
With its innovative style and design, these cars are favorites at any show. But these owners are more about the go, and these cars can go.
With my car, I've put a limited amount of money into it, and I'll go up against Corvettes, and until higher speeds, I can hang with them just fine. You know, once you start getting over 100 or whatever, they tend to pull away a little bit.
Very surprising cars when you meet them at a light.
Just a lot of times people confuse them with other cars, you know, a Daytona or something, you know, and they're expecting something else, and they don't know what they're getting into.
These guys enjoy driving and driving hard. And if something breaks, they aren't afraid to fix it.
It's tough to keep them running. A lot of people, if they have one, when they break, they can't find the help. Some garages don't even want to work on them because they don't know them. They can't find the parts they need, so they just sit in somebody's backyard for a few years and then get hauled off to the junkyard.
There's not very many people out there that work on Conquest, and I tried to take it someplace to do some work on it once before, and they kind of brushed me off, so I went and did it myself. So.
Drivers of these StarQuest vehicles have a certain passion for the cars. And when they gather, they have one thing on their mind: their cars.
Yeah, most of our meets, we get together, it's about driving them. We like to have a show, sit them in the parking lot, trying them up, but only for a couple hours, then we hop in them and go.
I have no problem driving across the country 10 hours straight just to meet other people from the club, because everyone in this club, like they said, it's a family. It's an absolute family. Anywhere you go across the United States, you're within an hour of someone who will help you out, and it's more about the people that make the club what it is than the cars itself.
This year, the StarQuest Club held their national meet at the Crown Plaza on the day of the Metro Cruise, with cars that have come from as far as Texas and Florida, with more than 40 vehicles in attendance. This is one of the largest gatherings of the StarQuest line in the last 10 years. With this many fans, the Starion and the Conquest will live on for a long time to come.
When the car squad assembled, we told them we were looking for some of the most unusual cars they could find. George Keene has been working his way down 28th Street, and now he's near Madison and 28th Street, where he's discovered a 1942 pickup that its first owner would probably never recognize.
Thanks, Noemi. We're here at the Grand Rapids Metro Cruise on 28th Street, and I've run across one of the neatest cars that I've seen so far in the show, and this one I understand belongs to you.
Yes, it does. Yep.
First off, what do you think of the cruise before we start on all the other fun stuff?
Well, this is my third year, and I've really enjoyed it a lot, and I'm glad the weather broke, but it's a great time. You get to see a little bit of everything here for sure.
And we're going to start with yours. You're from?
I'm from Caledonia.
Okay.
Caledonia, yeah.
What's your name?
Kirk Brown.
Okay, Kirk, tell us a little bit about the car.
Well, I started out with a 42 Ford pickup cab, and it was just a plain cab. I chopped it 6 inches and channeled it 7 inches. It's got a 37 Ford Firewall in it. I tried to make as many handmade parts as I could. I tried to not buy anything. I just wanted to make it as individual.
And this is what we would consider a true rat rod?
A nostalgia rod, yeah. But that's what they call them, rat rods. Yeah, it's a rat rod.
Well, you can throw a quick change in there, it changes the whole concession, you know.
Yeah, it's got a lot of old school parts. I tried to use everything that you could have used in the 50s.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. You've got it on airbags.
It's got airbags.
And it's up in the air now.
It's raised up, yeah. The whole rear suspension cantilevers back here. When I let the air out, this whole assembly rotates. I can show you how that works.
You ought to see in here.
So when I let the air out, this whole assembly pivots.
That's amazing. I've never seen anything like that in my life. That had to take some serious engineering.
It did. Yeah, I didn't sleep for about a week. I kept trying to think. It took me 3 attempts to finally get all the geometry to work, and there's a lot of moving parts right there. So it works real well.
How does it run up and down the road?
It runs real good. I just start letting air out until I can start seeing the gas tank kind of move up and down, and that's where I stop because I hit a bump, and this whole unit, I don't know if there's enough air, but we'll see if we can get it to go back up. Nope. It's got a really small air tank under the dash.
Oh, okay.
Good for about 1 lift. Front airbags are up under the motor. That drops it right down onto the rockers.
Oh, that's wonderful. Sets right down on the rockers. Well, this is truly unique. There's other ones around here. Are you involved with those too?
Yes, we have a club we started a year ago called the Relics. We've got about 15 current members, and we're all really working hard to bring the nostalgia-looking cars back. There's a number of us back in here, and we're just trying to make a lot of the parts on these cars are all handmade. You just junkyards, and I buy some stuff on eBay from time to time, but for the most part, I'm a tool and die maker, so I pretty much hand-built every piece in my shop at home, and this is what it turned out to be right here. So.
Well, very well done. I'm impressed as heck. It really turned out nice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for spending some time with us. We appreciate it. And guys, I think what we're going to do is we're going to roam around and look at a couple of these others.
It's certainly one of the more popular vehicles to modify. Now, since the first Metro Cruise in 2005, there's been a very popular pickup that's turned everyone's head. The word beautiful is used to describe this 1941 truck owned by Arnie Goldberger. Winning awards all over the country, the truck has one award that is Arnie's favorite.
In any car show, there is always one car or truck that sticks out. Arnie Goldberger owns one of those cars. His 1941 Ford pickup stands out among the others.
Oh, I just love it. I mean, it just, that truck just draws a crowd wherever it goes. I mean, the paint, the women and the kids just love that paint. I mean, it just flocks them to it. And then they can see under the hood, and everything is just absolutely spectacular under the hood, and chrome and shiny, and the paint and everything under the hood. And my draw of driving it is, it's a passion.
Arnie has spent his life in and around cars, trucks, and motorcycles, and he knows how to fix a truck upright. He has taken his 1941 truck and turned it into a work of art with all kinds of extras.
For 10 years, I've just been putting money and time and chrome and shiny things and nitrous and chrome this and chrome that. And for a 1941, it's got power steering, power disc brakes, tilt steering wheel, air conditioning, 340 horsepower without the nitrous. It's got 125 to 200 horsepower nitrous kicker on it, which I do not use because it's too nice of a truck to really thrash with the nitrous. It was built to be a show truck, not a race truck. It's just a genuine hot rod, but just strictly for show. I don't drive it anytime except to and from shows or cruise in or something like that. I may take it out on a Saturday or Sunday and put 20, 25 miles on it. But you always got to be so careful that somebody doesn't hit you or throw rocks at you. Or,
The truck is driving down the road or sitting in a line of cars. At a car show, you have to stop and look. And the one thing that always catches your eye is the logo in the back window.
If you look on my rear window, I have a Chevy bow tie insignia on my rear window, and it's a Ford truck, and people always get confused at a red light. They go, "Why do you have a Chevrolet insignia?" And I said, "Well, because it's Chevrolet powered."
This purple truck has made its way around the state and to a few others, and it has collected many trophies and awards. But there is one special award that Arnie places higher than any other.
This is my prized possession from all the thousands of cars and the hundreds and hundreds of cars that were in the show up there at the 28th Street Cruise last year. I was the second name called out of the top 25.
Arnie takes his truck to as many car shows as he can to show it off. He enjoys talking cars and engines and answering questions about his own ride. And one of his favorite places to do this is at the Metro Cruise. And if you spot his truck, take the time to check it out. It is one of a kind.
Metro Cruise 2007 is filled with activity, with thousands of classic cars collecting at Rogers Plaza and Woodland Mall, and the other cars cruising 28th Street. There are pockets of activity unique to Metro Cruise. It's what makes this West Michigan car event so unique, and finding these unique areas of activity is not hard to do.
Oh, this is just a tremendous shot in the air for the local area. It's just a community-involved effort that is just wrapping its arms around every demographic we have in town. I just am totally amazed when I come out here as to how many people there are. Black, white, yellow, brown, green, blue, and every age, and men, women, kids. It's just a stunning community thing. It just blows me away. This is our third year, blows me away. Third year, you know.
That you are such a car aficionado that you can tell what type of car it is just by the sound.
Sometimes you can't. Hear that car that just went past behind us? It's got a belt-driven supercharger on it. You can hear the whine from the blades turning. And the small block Chevy, of course, has its own unique sound. Yeah, the Ford Cobra Jet has kind of a motorboat sound to it. I'm not always right, but sometimes.
Now, George Keene and the Car Squad are along 28th Street, somewhere near Eastern Avenue, where they've discovered some kit cars and also some very unusual street rods. You'll only see this at Metro Cruise.
We have found another very unique automobile on the side of the road at the Metro Cruise, and we got to get an opportunity to find out more about this. Hi, who are you?
Hi, my name is Kevin Johnson. I'm from Kentwood, Michigan here.
So you're one of the people that lives in one of the communities that put this all together. What do you think of the cruise?
Oh, it's very nice. My first visit here. I'd heard about it the past two years in a row now, and I always wanted to get down to it, so I finally decided to show up.
Well, and you showed up with a pretty nice piece. You're going to have a hard time topping this next year. Tell us a little bit about the car.
Well, the car it's mostly shown in Montcalm County, is where I go to a lake every weekend. We show it at a lot of little smaller shows. I've taken it up to Ignis about every year now. So, but the car was originally, I've had it for about 20 years. It was a kit car. A gentleman from Lansing built it, named Dale Leinhart. He builds drag boat motors and drag boats. But bought it from him, and I've had it for about 20 years. Just keep adding chrome goodies to it. It rolled over in a trailer once, so I had to paint the thing, and I had another gentleman stripe it for me, which is right behind me. That owns this golf cart back here. His name is Jerry Andrews. He's a real good friend of mine. Great striper, as you can tell. He does all the gold leafing, all the lettering, everything. So.
Oh, that's some beautiful stuff. Obviously, if you take it to the lake every weekend, it's pretty roadable too.
Oh yes, very roadable. It drives great, and it's very streetable. I mean, it runs perfect.
Well, we thank you very much for taking the time to visit with us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Enjoy the Metro Cruise.
And while people from all over West Michigan are converging on 28th Street for the Metro Cruise, adjustable suspension and beautiful paint jobs have been a feast for the eyes at the Lowrider Hop-Off, where they're getting ready to start the double pump category at Woodland Mall.
Well, thank you there, Noemi. And we are just in time to see the start of the double pump.
Car Club, double pump.
Okay, double pump. We have Jason from Ohio.
West Side Car Club.
West Side Car Club. Give it up. Jason from Ohio. West Side Car Club. Double pump action.
Jason, what kind of car do you have here?
This is a 76 Monte Carlo. It's a buddy of mine. I brought it down here for him from Ohio.
What are some of the features on this Monte Carlo?
Hydraulics. It's got hydraulics on it, you know. We entered it into the hop. It's got, you know, it's just a normal street car. So.
Did you enter this into the competition today?
Yes, we did.
And how did you do?
I got third place, 12 inches, something like that. Wasn't too bad for a street car.
Awesome. All right, well, do you plan to be here next year?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a great show. Definitely.
Well, congratulations, and keep hitting the switches.
Okay, looks like we got Bill from the D, Detroit, Michigan. Give it up from Majestic. Bill, Detroit. How many inches? 63 inches.
And I'm here with
Tommy Cavataio. I've had the car for about 5 years. It's a 1964 Chevy Impala convertible. It's got custom paint, custom interior, hydraulics, you know, makes it move up and down. Real nice. Go out, have some fun in it. That's probably the best part of the car. This is a nice show we come to. We're treated very well out here, and we have a great time, so we'll definitely be back.
Well, we look forward to having you. Thanks for your time, and thanks for allowing us to do the interview inside of your vehicle.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thank you very much.
Until next year, let's hit some switches.
Keep it hopping.
Detroit, Michigan. Okay, it's Tommy from Majestic Car Club, Detroit, Michigan, 49 inches. All right, that's it for doubles. The next event is the Radical.
Thanks again for staying tuned to our continuing coverage of the second annual 2007 Lowrider Hop-Off. Don't change that channel, as the prize money will be handed out later. But before that, we will be right back with our final category of competition, which happens to be last year's crowd favorite, the Radical Competition.
On any given night in the small town of Allegan, the parking lot of a local diner becomes the stage for beautifully restored classic cars from all over the area. Evoking the spirit of the classic diners along Route 66, the owner of that diner, Jerry Bentley, still believes that the classic car is king of the road, and that one car in particular reigns as king.
Everyone has a childhood dream, and if you are lucky, that dream will come true. For Jerry Bentley, his dream came true a few years ago.
I have a 1960 Corvette, and I drive it whenever it's possible for me to drive it. Well, I've always wanted, since I've been just a little kid, ever since Route 66 was the show to watch.
Inspired by the classic TV show and the open road, Jerry is not afraid to take his car out and hit the open road. He found the car in a garage and put it through a full restoration, making sure he kept it as close to original as possible.
We totally took it apart. Restored it, took it off the frame, redone the frame, redone total interior in it, repainted it, a bunch of re-chroming done to it, rebuilt the original engine in it. But we try to keep it as original as possible. Everything in there basically is, or a reproduction of that I was able to buy and purchase and put back into it. So it's almost 100% original.
Jerry's passion for classic cars and the spirit of Route 66 is reflected in his diner. Jerry is the owner of Dino's 50s Diner in Allegan, where all you have to do is open the front door. Decorated with pictures and memorabilia, this place has the perfect sense of nostalgia.
I got into the 50s theme of it. I guess that brought it back to the car, saying, well, hey, you know, if we're going to have 50s theme like the old 50s style restaurant and soda fountain and things, then we need to get back into the 50s for cars. A lot of my customers will bring in their cars. I always tell them if they're coming, I don't care when they come. If they come Monday night, Tuesday night, we have our cruise night on Wednesday nights. But no matter when they come, they're more than welcome to park on my front lawn, to kind of show their car off. It not only shows off their car, but it brings in business. People are happy with that. They see somebody's here. And a lot of people just stop to look at the cars, you know, and they'll stop by, take a look at the cars, come in, get an ice cream cone, and see what's going on with them.
The spirit of Route 66 will never die, as cars like Jerry's and places like Dino's still live on.
All afternoon, the lowriders have been stunning the crowds at the Sears parking lot at Woodland Mall. Now, lowriders are something that's not often seen in West Michigan, and the crowds are here. Well, let's just say that they're more than overwhelmed, but they haven't seen anything yet as the competition goes into the third and most challenging category, the Radical. Let's go see Eddie Grover, where he's there styling and profiling.
Well, guys, we are going to be doing a little more than just styling and profiling. We're going to be up and off our seats and hopping up and down ourselves because we're getting ready to start the Radical competition. But before we start that, Jose, explain a little bit about the Radical competition.
Well, there's really no explanation necessary. The Radical competition, there are no rules. So everyone, please get ready for some unruly action. We're ready for the Radical competition.
Okay, and needs no intro. This is Pinky. Pinky from Ohio. All the way from Ohio. Give it up. Come on, let's do it, Pinky. What you guys say? Let's go. Okay, 70 inches. 70 inches. Give it up.
Okay, and Sergio, what kind of car do you have here?
It's a 87 Chevy Monte Carlo luxury sport.
Okay, and what drives you to put so much time and energy into a car?
It's for the love of the sports. You know, Detroit, everyone knows it's a motor city, so everybody's got the automotive bug, you know, bitten in them right there.
All right, well, are you proud of your work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're looking to hit possibly about 80 inches from the bottom of the tire. It's got a high lockup. It's got a V8 motor, 14-inch tires.
Okay, this is Jimmy. Show and go Detroit. Let's go Detroit. Okay, 81 inches. 81. All right, time for the extra parking. challenge, ladies and gentlemen. World record holder, 96 inches. The low rider holder, 96 inches.
Busted, but he did. He get over? Yeah, he got over. Wow, record-breaking Rob in this Toyota has just cleared 96 inches. That's right, folks, 96 inches. Eddie Grover here, and we're here with the chairman of the board of the Chamber of Commerce and the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Here we have Tommy Brands and John Crawford. How are you today, sir?
Good, Eddie. Glad to be here.
Super, Eddie. Hey, we're glad to be part of this thing. And a great day for a hop-off event, huh?
Yeah, we had a great event today.
Steve Clausen did a great job. I want to give it a hand to the event crew here. Did you guys do a good job organizing this thing? Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. In third place in single pump. Third place we have Willie. Willie, come on up. And Willie?
Willie, and what's your name?
My name is Willie.
Blank envelope.
And what is your car?
It's a 95 Lincoln Town Car.
Okay. All right, and then in second place in single pump from the West Side Riders, I guess it is Jason. Jason, come on out. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Jason, what kind of cars did you drive?
93 Cadillac.
Okay, and now our first place winner in the single pump category with a jump of 58 inches, that'd be 5'8", is Jimmy from Majestics. Jimmy, first place.
Good job, Jimmy. What kind of car do you drive?
The car that we won single pump with is a 64 Impala hardtop.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the great event, guys. Okay, we're moving into the second category. The second category today at the third annual AT&T 20th Street Metro Cruise was the double pump category. Our third place winner had a jump of 12 inches. Jason in third place. Jason.
And Jason, which car did you win in that double pump?
It's a 76 Monte Carlo.
Okay, good stuff. In second place with a jump in the double pump category of 49 inches, we have Tommy.
Very well.
Good job.
Congratulations, Tommy.
Thank you. Congratulations.
And Tommy, which car did you win the double pump jump in?
The red 64 convertible Impala.
Okay, thank you.
Our first place winner in the double pump category with a jump of 63 inches is Bill. So Bill, come on over, buddy.
All right.
There it is. Add that one.
Good job.
There you go.
Congratulations, Bill. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Sorry I screwed that up.
That's all right.
Hey, Bill, what car did you win that event in?
The 92 S10 blue truck over there.
All right.
63 inches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our last category at the Metro Cruise Hop-Off Competition, in the Radical category with a third place jump of 70 inches, we have Pinky. Pinky, come and get...
And Pinky, what car did you win that event in?
1980 Monte Carlo, world famous Pinky.
What color is it?
Pink.
All right.
Yeah, and we think that was a pink car, right? Okay.
I think so.
I think it was the pink one.
Okay.
You got a
Our
confirmation on that.
second place winner in the Radical category, jump of 81 inches. Second place is Jimmy. Jimmy, congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
you very much again.
And which car did you do that in, Jimmy?
The 87 Monte Carlo.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Great job.
This guy set a record here at the Metro Cruise with a record jump of at least 96 inches. That is really awesome and off the charts. Let's give it up for our first place radical winner, Rob. Come on out here, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Rob, what kind of car was that you won the first place in?
The 1990 Toyota Extended Cab Long Bed.
There you have it. The 2007 second annual Lowrider Hop-Off, where you have seen classic cars reach new heights and even lower lows. So I'm here with Jose Cummings reminding you, at least keep one wheel on the ground and keep hitting those switches until next year's Hop-Off, where we'll see you there. God bless you.
Ciao.
Thanks, Eddie. Now, what has made the American love affair with cars so unique is that what Detroit has already made, some creative people can only see something completely different. The Car Squad has more.
Back at Berger Chevrolet, and we have an opportunity, as you can see in the background, to see one of the most unique cars I've ever seen. This is the gentleman that put it all together.
Bob Miller, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
And Bob, what's this on? This is on what kind of a chassis, and how long did it take you?
Too long. About 10 years. It's a 84 S10 Blazer, and the chassis is all original, modified. Really everything's modified on it.
With all the tin work, obviously, that's a labor of love more than anything. Yeah. It's just long hours and hard work. What gave you the idea to do this? I mean, did you see something that prompted it, or you wanted to be completely unique?
I seen a older body style, a full size, and I seen it and liked it, and I just wanted to be different. That was the whole idea.
It sits real low. Is it hydraulically operated to get it back to road height?
Airbags.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And it's powered by?
350.
Okay. Yeah, it's just phenomenal. It's beautiful work. I have never seen anything like it, so I just thought we better talk about this.
Well, thank you. It's not done yet, but still a work in progress.
What else you gonna do?
We got a handmade grill that we made for it. Waiting to get that back from the powder coater, and still got to finish the tailgate. A little bit of interior work needs to be done, but you get the idea, and that's the whole idea, just to bring it out and let people look at it.
Well, we thank you very much. Beautiful job, and we look forward to seeing it next year when you've done more. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
And that's not all for the Car Squad and George Keene. You can see him on the racing show here on WKTV. But by day, George works for Kenworth Trucks, whose owner, Ron Stormy Nordstrom, once in a while sees the color red. Take a look.
My name is Ron Nordstrom, and I've got 30 cars. 30 cars here today. I've got a Ferrari to a Porsche. Run the whole gamut of foreign cars, and I've got 25 General Motors cars here today. Yeah, I went to the university of Nebraska, and the colors go big red, so all my cars subsequently all turned out to be red.
Okay, here it is. It's Metro Cruise, and you'd think it was all about cars. But those who love the two-wheel vehicles are just as keen on showing off their classics as the four-wheelers.
We've been collecting the vintage motorcycles for probably about 10, 12 years now. Motorcycles kind of been my dad's passion ever since he was a little kid. Worked at a motorcycle shop growing up, riding motorcycles and racing with friends, and I grew up riding dirt bikes and whatnot, and then kind of got the bug working on cars and whatnot with my dad, and he's kind of moved his passion from the hot rods back to the motorcycles, and like I say, since the past 10, 12 years, he's really started collecting and restoring motorcycles at this point for a hobby. Here's a 1966 Triumph TT Special, kind of a big brother to the 66 Bonneville. Basically, it's a factory race bike, 650cc, twin carbs, really high compression, and some different cams compared to the Bonneville. They use this bike for TT races and flat tracking, and she really goes. It's pretty loud and pretty scary fast, so it's a handful for 1966. So we only made about 870 of those for this year. Right here we have a 1959 Velocette Scrambler, basically a 500cc single carb dirt bike. Has a racing carburetor on it. It's called a GP carb. Very fast back in its day for riding in the trails. Handling wise, it was one of its upper class, very desirable piece. Not only that, but just hard to find because they didn't make very many back then. Something about the Triumphs and the sound and, you know, and everything. There's nothing like hearing a big 500 single run or open pipes on the TT. Is just a great sound and a great feeling when you get to ride them. So it's really, really neat. So what we have here is a work in progress. This is a 1957 Matchless G80RR. As you can see, it's just in the process of being restored. This was a factory race bike for dirt track racing only. They only made 50 in 1957, so very, very desirable model, and very extremely rare. Here we have a 1975 Bull Taco Astro. This was a factory race bike that was designed to race on flat track style racetracks. A lot of people use them to ice race as well. That's when my father had his own Astro, used to race on the ice. They would actually stud up the tires in the wintertime, go out and race on the lakes when they were frozen over. This is a 360cc engine, and the bike got its name, the Astro, when they started racing indoor races at the Astrodome, at the Houston Astrodome. Bull Taco designed a bike specifically to go flat track racing, short track racing. And that's the way they came. Very, very competitive, even against bigger bikes. These bikes have been known just to really take it to them and definitely beat bikes that have twice the size of the engines. Very, very nimble bike, handles very well and extremely fast. As you can see, there's no front brakes on this bike, so it is definitely an all-out race bike. What we have here is a 1963 BSA Gold Star flat track race bike. It was a factory produced race bike on limited numbers. The neat thing about this bike is it actually has some racing history that goes along with it. This bike was raced out on the West Coast by a guy named Shorty Seaborn. If you can see some pictures here of him in the background. He was the Pacific Coast champion in 1967 and 1968 with this bike. He did travel some circuits racing with this motorcycle. He was actually raced in the Astrodome when they were starting to do indoor flat track racing for the first time at the Houston Astrodome. This bike's also been to the Springfield Mile, pretty big flat track, and his home track was out at Ascot, California. When Shorty decided to retire, just as of recent, this bike was in his den in a glass case with some mud, with some clay from Ascot Race Park, which is actually closed at this point. That's probably the neatest thing about this bike is the history with this bike. I mean, there's a great relationship there, bonding with my father, not only my father, but my older brother, who spent a lot of time racing and riding with my father. It's a great way to spend time together. It's a good hobby to have. Not only that, when we go to the shows and the swap meets, there's a good group of people that we meet up with from other parts of the United States, and it's just a really good time.
We hope you enjoyed the time we spent with Metro Cruise 2007, but tearing the car squad away from all of these beautiful classic automobiles isn't going to be easy.
Most of the day today it was pretty calm and everybody seemed to get along well and it went well.
Yeah, and the weather cooperated with us, got rid of the rain, and lots of neat things we've seen down to Berger and all the way out to almost Granville now.
Yeah, we went out to Wiseman's and over to Boardman and on down, and we've had an opportunity. And now we're at Dermody Truck Sales where they're having the swap meet, and it was kind of fun to see where everything ends up. And when we're done, I'm going to go look for some parts for my Ford.
Hi, I'm Eddie Grover, and we've just finished a great event here at the 2007 AT&T Lowrider Hop-Off, where you have seen classic cars reach new heights and even lower lows. It was an excellent event. What do you think?
I had a great time. If you didn't make it out this year, you definitely have to come out next year. It's getting bigger and bigger every year.
Until next year, keep hitting those switches
and keep it bouncing.
And we'll see you there. God bless you.
And thanks, Eddie. You know, I have to agree with everyone that this has been one tremendous event today. We have to say special thanks to John Crawford, the Wyoming-Kentwood Area Chamber of Commerce, and the small army of volunteers that have been out here all day, managing nearly 150 to 200,000 people and 10,000 classic cars. It's been a tremendous event, and we're already looking forward to Metro Cruise 2008.
We're going to close with a montage of the sights and sounds of what is now the biggest car event in all of West Michigan, the Metro Cruise.
See you next year for Metro Cruise 2008.
Ha 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 ha!